All right, so nothing special here, just getting some stuff done. It's been a long weekend, holidays and all that. Kind of exhausted. But I'm just working on some of the new stuff for Fishnet, the Delta serializers, primarily for prediction, but eventually everything. So, you know. Okay. That's not going to work. Basically, I changed some code here and I need to restructure it. This might be confusing for a lot of people. You're basically writing code that writes code, but you're writing the code as text, which translates the code. So it's actually easier than IL stuff, but you just kind of have to look at it a little bit differently. All right, so let's see. This is probably going to be under Delta Writer Builder. So I need some kind of thing in here. Let's see. These builder classes are essentially classes that write out the text that in turn becomes code. So let's make this internal. What I'm going to do here. Okay. Internal string. Trying to look at my naming because I haven't done this in a while. Okay, so we'll say create full serialized check, and I don't think I need anything else. I'll explain what it does after because it's probably going to be really hard to explain as we're going. See, variable name, options variable. All right, so let's see. This is going to return, like I said, the code that needs to be injected into the program here. I could have sworn I had like, I don't have a string builder for the, okay. String builder. I actually like to put these above my const. There you go. String builder, no, string builder dot clear. And we're going to do if string builder dot append line. Takes a whole different way of thinking, but you'll see once it's done, it'll make more sense. If need to add this options variable name dot fast contains, and I need to now do Delta writer option. Should probably be Delta serializer option, but I'll change that in a second. Full serialize. I'm gonna need to do name of dot full serialize. Here we go. So what this is going to look like, this one particular line, is it'll write code that looks like this. If options dot fast contains Delta writer option dot full serialize. That's what that's going to look like. So let me rename this real quick though, because first I'm gonna pin some stuff and close out thing because I got a lot open. All right, so Delta serializer option rename. Can you link what you're talking about, Suave? Because I'm not entirely sure what you're referring. All right, so now I also need to add, oh, you know what? I need to do indentions as well. That's how much it will be indented. So like if this is, obviously if this is like one indent, like the value is 1, it's gonna look like that. All right, so we're gonna do string builder dot append line body. We're going to do indent plus, no, we're going to do the same indent. We're going to add the little bracket there. So this is going to now look like this. And we're now going to do indent plus 1. And we're going to append the body. Then we're just going to append the closing bracket and return it. Okay. So let's go ahead and check that out. I'm probably going to undo this stuff real quick because I deleted code here and oh no, it won't let me undo. Okay. That's not great. Not a big deal. I was just going to show you what it does, but I need to finish that up first, I suppose. Maybe I can just comment this out. Errors, go away. Did that work? Okay, well, there's still errors, but it's not there anymore. Also, the body. All right, let me just try and comment this out. There we go. The end of the reader function returns item using class type 1, like weapon. I need to, this is like an actual link because I'm not entirely sure what you're referencing. Sorry. All right. So what do we got here? This is where this creates the right fold. This is basically what I was talking about, except this is the old approach. So I'm going to change this to if options dot fast contains delta serializer option dot full serialize writer dot write type, and then we're going to do, I'm going to actually type it out in full here. I forgot to return as well, didn't I? Okay, that's what it's going to look like. Let's go back to this. Creates and returns a full serialize call. Oh, I don't want to actually append the return because when this is for write, it's going to just do return, but when it's for read, you're going to actually return the type. So if I really should have like at least brushed up on this a little bit here and there when I was doing stuff, but let me look at the old generated stuff here. Okay, we're just gonna do this differently. We're gonna do is actually right. This is a text to be added for the actual write call. So now we just need to append it. So we're gonna do sb.append line. SB is like the full writer for the method. We're gonna do append line straight full serialized check. Indent is 3, should be 3, and options variable name is going to be should be, there we go, delta writer option name, and the body is going to be the if body. All right, let's see. There's no argument that body of, oh, body has to be a string. There we go. Should do it. What am I missing? Indent. Oh. There we go. All right, root call doesn't exist anymore. It will, but worry about that later. Let's try and rebuild this now. See what kind of mess I made. I still don't know what documentation page you're talking about. I'm sorry. Okay, so that errored. I didn't see what happened because I was looking at the. Let me rebuild it again. Hyper namespace does not exist. Oh, it's not actually using it. I had to put in the usings. I don't actually have to put in the usings. I do this a little bit differently. Adding all the usings at the top of the class can kind of be a bit. Why are people mowing? Like, someone decides to mow right as I'm doing a live stream. I mean, you know, that's fine, whatever. But it's just the timing. All right. So actually, what I have to do is I have to get the full name of the type, and that's going to kind of be an issue. I'll show you why in a second. Actually, I think I can show you why now. So if you look at this, you see the options there. This is what was just made. And you see it has delta serializer option and just says option. Oh, I'm missing the closing bracket too, so that's my bad. But what's going on here is you'll see that everything else has the namespaces in front of it. This is so I don't have to append the using at the top, like using client assembly dot mythingb, for example. So I have to just include it right there as well. So first I need to fix the bracket missing there. Next I have to do this. I need to make it the same namespace as OB and Fishnet. All right, so let's go back up. Where did I delete that? Here we go. And in bracket there. Why are you throwing? Yes, it does. Oh, that's right. I changed the namespace and it doesn't. Okay, my bad. My bad. All right. So it still has to be the full name. So what I need to do is I need to go up here. Let me check something out real quick. It actually needs to be under constants. So let me go over here and go to, where's my constants? There we go, Fishnet constants. And here we're going to do, it can be under writer, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so public const string delta writer option full name equals, and we need to do serializing namespace, and then delta writer option. And then I need to do, let me get this here. Full name for, let me see what else, how I wrote these here. Okay, I just typed in delta writer option enum. And now I need one just for the regular name. So this is actually going to get changed slightly. Name, and this is just going to be delta writer option. And then the full name is going to be, oh my god, typos. Delta writer option. Got to keep everything so it makes sense. Guarve, if you're still with us, can you please link what you're talking about? Because I'm not entirely sure. I don't mean to, like, I'm not trying to ignore you. I don't know if you've heard me, but I just need to see what you're looking at because I'm not quite understanding where you're getting that from. All right, so back to this. So this actually needs to be fishnet constants dot delta writer option is supposed to be delta serializer option. I renamed it. I mean, the name of the constant doesn't really matter, but for consistency reasons, obviously I want it to be the same. Okay. So now I need to go back down to this. Oh, this might be a little bit different. I might have to do back to here. I'm just going to make this into its own little category. Region, delta serializing in region. Public const string delta serialize option full serialize full name equals this might look really stupid, but you're gonna see what it does at the end. You're like, oh, that's kind of neat. Dot delta writer delta serializer serializer option dot full serialize. All right, why didn't it like this? Oh, because I have to do name of, which makes me think I just need to do this. I think I also need a period in there. Yeah, I do. Forgot the period. So this should actually be this. Hi, what are you working on? I am working on the new delta serializers that I've been talking about have taken priority. These are going to significantly, and I do mean very significantly, improve bandwidth consumption inside fish networking. It's first going to be applied towards prediction, and then it's going to, as we progress, be applied to rest of the framework. All right, so let's see. Going back to this. Fishnet constants dot full serialize full name. There we go. Technically, I could just hard code this into this one method because it's probably going to be the only place it will be used, but it's cleaner to kind of put it with the constants. It makes more sense. So I'm not going to add an indent to body because body should already be indented. I don't know if you noticed that in the generated code. All right, let me try this again. Hopefully no errors. Might still be some, we'll see. Okay, delta writer option. Delta writer option. Didn't I? Yeah, I know that's a generated code. It should be, again, it should be renamed. This isn't what's causing the error. This is just tidying. Where is it getting that from? No, I'm not a solo dev. I mean, I push everything through. I do the hard stuff, I guess you could say. But I get a lot of help here and there for sure. Plus, there's a lot of PRs, bug reports. Helpers debug a lot of stuff, and they often find issues too, and they fix them, and then they just forward it to me. Why is it? Did I like? I must have made a typo again. I have the old stuff stuck in my head, I think. So let me go look at this. Delta writer. Oh, I do. So this I can actually use the name of because I need it to exist anyways in the source generator under a fake name so that I can I'm trying to think if this will, you know what, Delta serializer option. Let me take what I just wrote and move it to where it should be. Where are you? Where are you, file? Code building serializers, Delta writer. Okay. Here we go. Delta serializer option. This should be under the fishnet folder. Right here. Under serializing. That might create some errors, that's fine. It might not. Yeah, so that shouldn't. What I need to use is actually this dot full serialize. Okay, try again. Oh my god. Delta serializer option exists in both. Oh yes, it does exist in both, but I thought I deleted it. So it's right there still. Let me delete that. Get rid of that file. Delete. Try again. Uh-oh. I broke it. I broke it. Try it again. Rebuild. Okay, so let's complaining about something else. Namespace serializing does not exist in Fish. That's not true. Is it? Is it true? Oh. Yeah, that shouldn't exist. You can't reference, you really shouldn't reference any other assemblies when you're working with Roslyn. There's a whole lot of dependency issues and whatnot in regards to that. So you kind of have to use constants and strings and whatnot. What are you complaining about? Oh, it's still. All right, try again. We're getting there. Uh-oh. Oh, that's a generated thing saying it doesn't exist. That's probably not a big deal. I haven't updated all that code yet. Let's go and see what we got. There's going to be errors, of course. It's not proper. All right. Now we have the full namespace And if options.fast contains full serialized, perfect. We're going to write full and then we're going to return. I saw another error. Don't know where it went. I know it's referencing a value that doesn't exist anymore because I removed it. Something about root, right? I'm sure. Where are you? Let me recompile. That's another thing, is the errors just like appear and then they go. Oh, it says that name change does not exist. Oh, it does not exist. What happened to my change variable? I must have wiped it out on accident. All right, so let's see. That's an empty serializer method. We're going to now. Well, let me see where the change first gets introduced. Huh. Okay. Check it. Oh, great. Awesome. You know what? I'll be right back. I'm going to check out something. I wiped out code. I do have a backup, but let me just open up my backup. See what's going on there. Roslyn. Let me look at changes here. Ah, I see. Okay, I see what's going on. Just commented it out probably, but yeah, it's right here. Did I wipe out total flags as well? It should be right up here. Oh, that's the comments. This is the actual code. Duh. All right. All right, let's try that now. Where are we expecting this? This is pretty small stuff. This is just saying I forgot something. Basically, it just means I forgot a bracket somewhere in there. All right. So we're making progress. Where is that missing bracket? Right here. Let's go back up to here. Let's go over here. Just got to add another bracket. Build. Hey, no errors that time. Yay. All right. There's our second bracket. So something else I need to add for the options. I need to also add a root, write, or read flag, which basically means it's the first serialization of the object. So let's say that I'm serializing replicate data, or maybe I'll simplify it for those that don't use prediction yet. Let's say I am serializing something called player stats, and inside that there are other structures like I'm trying to think what could be like weapon status, for example, and that's a structure that might say like enabled, ammo, etc. So what's going on is if it's a root write or root serialized, it knows that it is serializing the first type, and when it does that, it knows that it has to write the flags saying what for that type was actually serialized. And that's important because if you, whenever you trail down, maybe it actually shows it here. Yeah, so this is actually a good example. So let's say this is the root one right here, my thing A, I believe. And if I go over here, yeah, so you can see here, it inherits from my thing B. Okay, so let me do public my thing B. Oh, I can't do that. We'll just say C. All right, rebuild it. It's gonna make so much more sense if you just see it. What did I do? Oh, I broke something. Delta writer cannot be found for type system.string. Yeah, that's intentional. It's not finding serializer for this. I'm not sending it. Oh, this was a different test. Okay. Sorry, I just need to see what's going. Oh, here's my thing A. All right, so here's what it's doing basically. Sorry that it took so long to get there, but so you notice there's total flags here. This indicates what's basically been written, and even if nothing has been written, it's going to write the flags. Right now it says only write if the flags are changed, but that's because that part's incomplete. It's going to say write if flags have changed or if root write. Root write being the parent structure or whatever it be, and in which case it's going to write the flags. And the reason that's important is because whenever it does a root read, it needs at least one flag written to indicate what exists in that. But you don't necessarily have to write what's written for every single subsection or inherited or I guess nested structure or class, because if the class or structure didn't change, you don't need to write anything about it, and that's where the quote-unquote root write. Then if it's not a root write, then it knows it doesn't have to write the flags for it. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but it does. So let's go ahead and continue onward. Now I need to do a flags check here. So changed equals root writer. So we're gonna do I gotta create a boolean for root writer. So string, I'll actually name it root serializer so I can use this. When I say reuse this, I mean I'm gonna basically copy and paste this in my reader stuff. Okay, so now I'm going to create the variable. So I need to do sb.append line. What is my current indent? 2, 3, 3, and I'm going to do code builder dot create local variable, and is going to be of type boolean or boolean. Where do I have my changed? Oh, I just gotta do, okay. Looks like I'm just doing bool here as the type. That's not right though. It should be, I believe it's system.bool, but let's just check. System.boolean. Yeah. But that's wrong. This needs to actually use the right code here. Although the issue is, like I said, you don't really want to use dependencies. So I'm going to go over to my constants here. Because if I use name of, well, name of won't actually add a dependency, but if I want the full name, it will. So I'm going to go over to minimize that, over to my constants, native constants. All right. Public const string boolean full name equals system.boolean. All right, so now we're going to go back to this, and we're going to do native constants dot boolean full name. All right, perfect. Now we're going to do same thing here. Create local variable native constants dot boolean dot full name, and the variable name is root serializer variable, and default value is not going to be set. I believe if I don't do a default value, it just does not append. Yes, correct. So that will enable me to add code onto it and set it on the same line. If I include a default value, then it sets a default value and then appends the semicolon at the end. Oh, hey, it's been a long time, trust no one else. Haven't really seen you around much. Okay, let me just check something in the server, make sure nothing is exploding in the Discord server. Everyone's being happy. Great. I feel like a little like I'm working on a sim town or something. Sometimes, for the most part, it's good. Every so often, though, something just chaotic erupts in the server. It's like, the moderators and helpers are really, really good about handling that stuff. And honestly, it doesn't happen very often, but it does sometimes. All right, so create the local variable. So what this does is basically bool. Well, it's going to actually say system.boolean root serializer equals options.fast contains delta serializer option dot where did I put here? Root serialize. Okay, so that's what that's going to look like when I'm done. I'm going to update this code a little bit. All right, perfect. So now I just need to actually make the call, which does this. So go up a little bit. All right, so this. And then we're going to go down here where I just were. Here we go. sb.append line 3. This is going to have to be a string. And I'm going to first do equal. Oh, you know, I don't want append line. I just want append because I'm going to add it onto it after. All right, so equals. Just double checking stuff here. Option name dot fast contains, and now I need to go back to my fishnet constants. A lot of this is setting up, as you can see, like adding in constants, things of that nature. Once you get all of this set up and like add it as you go, you can just reference it and like existing, like you don't have to keep doing this. It gets easier. It does get easier. So let's see. Delta serializer option dot full serialize. Okay, so option dot root serialize. I just need to make sure that lines up. Okay, it does. Okay. Now if I go back to my builder here, this is going to be under fishnet constants dot root serialize, and I need to add the closing and then the bracket. Wrap it up and let's see what it does. Oh no, I broke something. Let's go see. Oh, yeah, it added the semicolon anyway. It wasn't supposed to. Maybe it is supposed to. I could have sworn I made it not use the semicolon. Let me go check. Maybe under my code builder. Oh, it does add it regardless. Okay. Here we go. Now I need to go back to this real quick and string.empty clothesline false. Yeah, basically just modified the method a little bit and pretty much was all I had to do. Let's see what's missing though. Why is there a giant? Because of the indent. That's not what's breaking it though. I'm not sure why it's breaking just yet. Since this is actually being appended to the previous line, I don't need the indent. I'm just gonna rebuild so I can read it better. All right, so this is saying line 48, which is right here. What did that say? Right delta client assembly. Oh, so this is calling. This is another change I just made. Basically, before the signature on this method, ignoring the writer, it was passing in the first value, the second value, and then it was using two booleans for basically one for full right and then one for root right, and they had defaults. So before, this code was okay because it just assumed the default values. Obviously they're not okay now. So let me think on this one real quick. Okay. So if I do a full serialize, it's just going to write the whole value, including everything it inherits. So if my thing A inherits my thing B, which it does in this case, it should write my thing A, which will also write my thing B. It basically bypasses the delta serialization entirely. So that means for the flags that I need to pass in when writing nested delta writers or serializers, I don't need to pass in the full write because that doesn't make any sense, because if it was a full write, this would have already called and exited. So I just need to pass in that it's not a root write. I actually don't need to pass in anything because it's not a root write, and or I keep saying write. I should say serialize. It's not a root serialize and it's not a full serialize. So that means I can just use the default value up here and it should be okay. Let me go ahead and go back to this, and let me go over here to my. I'm going to set this as the default value. So, going back to my builder, see how quickly things just get opened up. Need to add another one. Yeah, Max did take all the helper jobs. I mean, they didn't really. They, other people could help. They just chose not, choose not to. There actually are some people that have helped. A fair amount, I suppose. Not a whole lot. Nothing like Max. They have helped, but it's usually just for they usually only peak for 1 month, and it's not generally a significant amount. And that's usually how we bring in helpers, is people that help consistently. They're brought in and then they're given, of course, a share of whatever. But yeah, Max is basically the primary helper at this time. All right, so delta serialize option unset full name. I don't know if I actually need to put full name. Yeah, I probably should. Because it's going to have the namespace as well. All right. Delta sterilizer. Oops. Sterilizer option dot unset. Fix that typo. Okay. That means that's a default in the header. I can go up here, and then I'm going to do equals. I'm going to add in the full name. Let's do fishnet constants dot unset. Save. Build. No errors. Perfect. Well, I assume perfect. We're going to check it out. Let's see. So it's showing unset, which is perfect. Also, you notice something weird about this that I don't like. This is an issue with Visual Studio, but not with Rider. Is you're going to notice that all these namespaces are and types as well are just white. Like they're not referenceable. But this code is actually inside my user assembly, which has a reference to Fishnet. So these should be colored and you should be able to navigate to them, but you can't. It's some issue with Visual Studio. I don't know what it is. Rider doesn't have this problem, but Rider's kind of a pain in the butt elsewhere for me at sometimes. So, you know. Create room and lobby. Well, we actually have, when you say room and lobby, do you mean create like one server, like one executable that can do multiple rooms and stuff, or do you mean just having it so you can join and launch a bunch of different servers for matches? There's a very big difference. One's a lot easier than the other one. All right, so let's go back to here. Yeah, everything's good, so I need to back this up and go ahead and save everything here. Bring this over. Delta sterilizer option adds added delta sterilizer option instead of root right slash full right for delta writers. Let's complete delta readers for this. Okay. Move that over. All right, so delta writers seem to be working good. I'm just going to double check the code just to make sure. I think A is the first one, so this is what we're looking for. System boolean root serializer. If the options fast contains root serialize. I want any player can create a room and other can join there. Yeah, so that's still kind of a complicated thing because putting it we have a project for under the pro tier which lets you basically log in with a username. It doesn't really authenticate. It's just kind of an example of logging in with unique usernames. You put restrictions in it and so on. But you log in with a username and you get a list of already created rooms. And basically you can join a room, you can create a room, etc. But that's all hosted on a single executable and requires scene stacking. That's generally perfect if you want some simple games like really lightweight 2D games or card games or something like that, where it makes sense to run everything on one executable and save the resources of more executables. But if your game is something a little more complex, maybe 3D movement, if it's physics based, etc., I would recommend using a service which basically just deploys these games for you. They quote unquote create rooms, which they might call it instance or server or whatever, but you can still get the list of what's already launched and you can make a UI for it and all that stuff. If you want to use that service, we're officially sponsored by EdgeGap, and we actually fully support their services and all that and whatnot. So that's probably my recommendation if you're going to go that approach. Not just because we are sponsored by them, but because they do have a free tier to get started, and their pricing is pretty good, and they have a ton of tools that are very useful for after you launch. So that's why that's one of the big reasons we also went with them too. Is they have a lot of utility that we really like. All right, so back to what I was doing. Hopefully that answers your question. If not, follow up. I'll let you know. All right, so one thing I do have to do in regards to this though is the total flags is being set to 0, which isn't right, because the total flags should be set to include the options. So I think I can just do, I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to try. Let's see, let's go to Delta Builder and total flags. Default value is not going to be, it's going to be int. I need to do Delta serializer option name. Let me rebuild just to make sure that looks right. Oh, it's a ulong? Oh yeah, duh. It is a ulong. Okay. Cool. So that'll actually convert it to whatever the options are. Now the next thing is this is basically just using a hard. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's really easy to get going, honestly. We also have a video tutorial on my YouTube on how to launch EdgeGap. It is super quick. Like you can get going in like under 5 minutes. So the other issue is the total flags starts at a set value. It's like hard coded in, but it needs to actually start at the maximum value of Delta serializer option. So let me go ahead and do that. So we have it here. Basically what I'm saying is if I go to the Delta serializer option, it's already using 2 flags. So I need to start it after these 2 flags, which would actually be 4. But let's go find that. Where is it? Right here. Oh, it's total flags. I know there's like a start option in here somewhere. Where are you? Oh, right there. Starting flag for each modified field. The answer is not 2. Incorrect. So we're going to do enums. Sorry, enum extensions. Dot get highest value. Oh no. That's annoying. So I was gonna do get highest value on the enum, but the enum is in the fishnet assembly, and like I said, don't cross-reference assemblies in CodeGen. Not good. Or don't reference assemblies in CodeGen. Not. You can do it in Cecil or IL, but you can't do it in Roslyn. At least it's not recommended because bad things can happen. So the start value actually has to be 4, which is just like I said, double. I'm gonna just put this in my constants just to make sure I don't mess it up. I'll leave that there for a second. delta serializer option max value equals 2. Maximum flag value within delta serializer option. I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to do fishnet constants dot max value times 2. And that should start it at 4. No errors. All right, perfect. So basically it's saying, hey man, could you explain more about the delta sync you recently implemented? Can you be more specific, please? So it's telling me right here, by the way, that there's no delta writer for string. And because of that, it's just, it has to write the whole value. So obviously that's not good. I need to add a delta serializer. So let me go to writer.delta and delete that extra return because that's annoying. Then do default delta writer. This is new stuff that's coming in. You can basically write your own delta serializers and stuff if you want. Public boolean. I don't know why I always want to say boolean. I know it's boolean. I don't know why. Public bool write delta string string value A, string value B. Basically what it does, if there's a difference, it'll return true. If there's no difference, it'll return false. That's why when you look at the code here, it tries to write it, and if it did write it, it increases the flags. Back to where I just were. Where was that? There we go. I don't know anything about AWS GameLift, I'm sorry. I would ask EdgeGap people. They're in our server, but I think they're gone because it's the weekend. Sometimes they're around, but I'm pretty sure they're gone at this time. I think everybody's just kind of settling down since the holidays. I would definitely just ask them though. They'll probably know better. And you can ask them in our server or their server as well. They're very responsive. All right. So I'm not gonna do like a check by check on this. I'm just gonna do if value A equals value B, return false. Otherwise, write string value B, return true. All right, so you noticed before it said that this comment here is just basically for me. It just adds this in, letting me know, hey, you messed up or you forgot something or it couldn't be implemented or whatever. This is where you might be like, hey, FGG, you forgot one, or this is where you might write your own if you need to. But Fishnet does generate delta serializers, obviously, because that's what it's doing here. So if I were to rebuild this right now, there you go. Now it's calling the right delta string, and if the values change, it's adding on the flags. Well, I mean, obviously whole numbers are not going to lose any precision because they're not precision values. And I actually ran, have you seen the initial findings / benchmark differences, I suppose, of the delta serializers snapshot? Because I have those in the server and I can link them to you here if you need them. All right, so that should be good for that. Let me back that up again. What did I change though? Okay, delta writer fixed total flags not starting at proper value with delta serializer option changes. Okay, let me give you a link then. Just take me a sec. I'm gonna grab that. There we go. Copy message link. There you go. That is the dirty details. Basically, it's telling this, it does a floating test and a hold test, and it's showing you how much savings you can typically expect with the amount of variance provided. And as far as precision goes, the precision is 001. So the network transform in its current packing is 01. So it's accurate up to 0.01, whereas the delta writing system is accurate up to 0.001. So it's actually quite a bit more accurate as well. And if you look at the whole numbers, there's obviously there's a pretty big improvement there. And if you scroll down even more, I have an example about. I'm not actually showing this text. I just realized it's on a different screen. I'm sorry. I'm talking about the link I just provided. But if you scroll down even more, I provided benchmarks against replicates and reconciles as well. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. As far as the prediction, replicates are probably going to be pretty steady around 80 to 85% less bandwidth used, and the reconciles are probably going to be closer to like 70 or so % less bandwidth used. It really depends. There's a lot of stuff we're doing, but right off the bat, that's probably the initial numbers we're going to expect. As far as the network transform goes, we're hoping to shave off. We're basically hoping to get it down to about 6 or 7 bytes per write, and that's containing on average updating 2 axes and rotation half the time. So average of always writing 2 axes on the position and writing rotation half the time. I think that's a pretty fair benchmark. We have a new system though that's going to be coming out to pro people instead of network LOD. Network LOD is going to be going away, and it's going to be a new feature or type of network transform specifically for pro members that's going to offer essentially real-time results without sacrificing simulation response time for like the LOD does, but it's going to be very, very close to the same savings. So that's pretty cool. That's there. We actually have documentation on that. If you look at our, let me get that for you real quick. There you go. So you just gotta scroll down until you find it's under the 4.1.0, and you just scroll down to sync types, and it'll tell you how to do all that. It's really, really, really easy to do though. The change from Brightcove sync vars. What do you mean no caching? All right, so I got to work on the readers now. I'm gonna keep this open because I might need it for a reference. I need to add a write delta string here. Otherwise, things are gonna go very poorly. Let me open up Fishnet too and do this because I want to get this. I'm adding all these into my my pseudo Fishnet, which is basically I already have the project open. I had the Visual Studio open, but not the project. My pseudo Fishnet runtime here, I just basically added a bunch of things. This isn't the actual Fishnet, so I had to add the actual code. where did I put that? Yeah, these aren't commented. It doesn't matter though. Like I said, this is just pseudo stuff. All right, default delta reader. Read string. Yeah, so this isn't right either, by the way. That's obviously not a delta read. Actually, no, that is right. I'm sorry. That is the actual code. Because if it's calling read delta boolean, it already knows that it's dirty, so it needs to read it. There we go. What? Oh. String. What do you mean no caching though? I don't follow what you say by that. All right, let me get rid of some stuff. It is a mess. All right, now I need to uncomment these. There will be errors. All right. All right, so this needs to basically be the same thing as the other one. Seeing the transforms are granular, what holds the previous states that currently aren't being altered. Not sure what you mean. Basically, what it does though is whenever how it works currently is whenever the tick occurs, it checks the last sent data against the current data, and then it writes what's changed. That's how it's going to still be. It's just going to do it differently. It's going to still do that, but it's going to use delta stuff instead, and it's going to be a lot more efficient. Okay, so I need to go up here first, and this is what I need to do. I need to take this line, go over here. No, wrong. Go over here. That. This is because this needs to be under reader. So I have something I do here where I basically just do this. If I'm using the same variable name, I'll just do delta writer builder dot. Yeah, there we go. I guess I don't really know if I currently understand, like if I understand what your question is. Oh, I already had it on here. Delta, it's just not used. That was something I put ahead of time without actually completing it. Okay, so now the header and stuff should be good. Let me rebuild. It might error. I just uncommented. Oh, it didn't error. I thought it might. Didn't actually generate the thing. I think it's because it's not calling the body function. It's probably recognizing that the body is null and it's not adding. Let's see. Get rid of this. See what happens. How often do I do a live QA? No one knows. I don't really do it on schedule. I just do it whenever I'm doing it, basically. Well, why is it not doing this now? Did I screw up something? The 3 succeeded, which is correct. There's 3 projects. Just not creating. Why? wonder if something is exiting. Let me check something quick. Debug. Yeah, so debugging Roslyn is sometimes a pain in the butt because Unity only supports a certain version where you can't actually debug inside the IDE. So I have to print everything to a file and then look through it. Super fun. All right, so it's trying to create a reader for this and that, but it's clearly exiting somewhere. So let's see. Debug.log. Let's see. Read method is not valid. I'm just trying to figure out where it's breaking. I wonder if it's... One I can think of is probably the new line I just added in. It was working before. Oh my god. That shouldn't matter. The name shouldn't matter. But double check. Yeah, okay, I was like, the name doesn't matter. Let's see, this is name type not resolved. Trying to figure out where it's exiting early because I see it's trying to make it, but it's just not. Cannot create serializer. All right, let's try again. Get rid of this real quick and rebuild. You're supposed to refresh. Why are you not refreshing? I'm supposed to auto refresh, but it didn't. All right, give me 1 second. Just need to check my phone. Who is this person? Somebody sent me a message on Patreon. They might be having an issue with their account. I will check that after. All right, name type not resolved. Huh. Okay. It says already exist. Yeah, I guess. Hold, please. Debug.log. Continuing. Rebuild. Should be automatically reloading this. It might have got turned off. I need to turn it back on. All right. So it says it already. Oh, that's the writer. Okay, trying to create reader for this name type not resolved. Interesting. So let me see what could be going on about that. Let's see. Delta writer builder. Aha. Well, that was clearly something I just put in as a hacky solution. No, because that's not even used, is it? Hold on, let me check, because... Oh, it is used. This is wrong, though. I definitely did something about this already. Okay. I know for a fact I did something about this. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, it's literally right there. Type symbol metadata name. Let me check that again real quick. Oh, okay, so it's making it and it's adding it. Got it. Okay. So this should actually just be this. That shouldn't be needed anymore. Let me rebuild and make sure that's working. This is something I must have run into right as I was wrapping up my code and crud. Let me just add some more debug, I guess. Clearly saw by the hard-coded value that I was probably still working on. All right, well, that is not the meta name. That sucks. I thought by adding full meta name, maybe. I wonder. Check something. So the metadata name doesn't actually have the namespace in it, and that's why it's not working. This one's not working either because it's just a type name. It's not the actual. Okay, so you guys are probably like, what the heck is he talking about? This is so weird too. Whenever you have a type like this, just in its own namespace or whatever, the full path of this is client assembly, because that's a namespace, dot, and then the type. Now, what's funny and kind of annoying is that whenever you have a nested type that is inside another one, for example, player here has a type myStruct_B. This is a nested type of player. So this would actually be client assembly dot player. Is it player class? Yeah. Dot player plus myStruct_B. So you see how that's annoying. And I thought getting the metadata name would fix that. I thought it would include the full path, but it doesn't. So now I'm not sure what to do. I might have to see what my options are. Okay, let's go to metadata name. We'll do full metadata name because it's going to need to be the full path. Okay. Now I need to look into creating this. This is for find class serializables. This is for all right, that's doing it as a field. So let's go ahead and start with this. Yeah, this is gonna be, this is one of the biggest hurdles, is small things like this that kind of just gets you by surprise. Let's see. Sorry, I was reading a message on my screen. I don't know. I think that's just going to provide it with the periods and whatnot without the actual plus sign. I'm going to just I don't need this. Okay. Yeah, so it just says client assembly my thing B. Oh, it's not actually hitting the structure, is it? Huh. Interesting. Just take this, put that there. I thought we went over this. Do not add these. Oh. Okay, well. So apparently the metaname thing's not working. I can't remember what the other bit was. Is this supposed to be the metadata name? Okay. I can't remember if the metadata name is. Yeah, it's the lookup bit. I don't think there's another option though. Get type. No, there's not. Of course there's not. All right. So I think I need to do. The reason it's not finding it is because, like I said, the plus signs and whatnot. It needs to be converted to the plus signs, which is weird, annoying. So let's go ahead and go to my get full. Going to be under get symbol. What is it called? Full meta name, or is it just called meta? But I want the full name. Get full meta name. Okay, so this is gonna be fun. So the name symbol.name is the last bit that probably needs to be added on there, but I need to. I think it just needs to do this. That might be it. Unless this has a fully qualified meta name or something. It does not. Of course not. Okay. I'm currently working on the Delta stuff. Okay, I thought this would. Oh, you know what? I didn't actually call to it. Right one. I need to go back to this. Just need to go here. Get full meta name. There we go. Again, full meta name. Metadata name. I'm gonna do this. I don't really need this variable here. Oh, that might be different. It is a symbol though, so I'm gonna actually do parameter symbol, type symbol. So this is what I need to. This one I will do because it's a bit long to put all that in one thing. All right, let's try this again. Check out the logs. Okay. Oh, look at that. Meta name is player plus my struct B. That's right. All these windows open. Hey, look at that. Great. So now I need to just do some more tests real quick just to make sure it's not being silly. That looks right as well. You can see it's using the structure in namespace format instead of the metadata name, which we want. We don't want the metadata name, we want the namespace like structure. So now I just need to do something else and do this. Rebuild. I just need to make sure it's working on multiple levels. See this. Where's the plus sign? There we go. Oh, it looks like that's okay. I'm assuming that's how it's supposed to be. Let me find out. If it's not, then the writers would not have generated. There's A, B, and there's C. Perfect. That does seem to be working. Let me go ahead and back up. Fixes for metadata names. To clarify though, I'm working on the Delta writers, which there's a link a little bit above. The Discord link is basically the performance increase that we're expecting from these. That's what is currently being worked on. Oh, let's see. Just got some messages I need to check real quick. One more moment, sorry. Okay. So we need to go back to the readers, which I'm going to remove that because that one structure I just added, given it's quite long and it's just making things harder to read. So I'm going to comment all this out again. There we go. The include serialization is a thing that basically tells Fishnet, even though it's not used in like an RPC or anything, making it so Fishnet doesn't see it, essentially. If it's not inside like an RPC or sync bar or something, Fishnet doesn't see it. And just tells it that, hey, you should still create a serializer for it. That's all that is. And you don't really need it on my thing B and A, because A inherits B, so it automatically does it. But let's rebuild real quick. Close that out. Okay. Gonna need that. And sorry, I was just reading chat for a second. All right, so we got another issue here where it is doing a check on the flag and it's starting at 2. That needs to again start at 4 for the check. So we're gonna go to this and just gonna search for 2. Oh, there's gonna be a lot of 2s in there. There we go. Fishnet constants dot max times 2. That should fix that. Let me just rebuild. All right, perfect. So if we compare these, you can see it's saying if the string is changed, that's basically what that's doing. Then add 4 onto the flags. Now go over to the reader. It says if the flags has 4, then we're going to set the result of whatever is being read. So in this case, my thing A, to the string being read because we know it was written. Otherwise, we're going to use the last value, and thus you have delta generator. I do need to add in something. Oh, that's not right. 2 things in there. So let's fix that real quick. I don't think that'll actually create a compilation error though, which is funny. Add all the things you want, all the little semicolons you want. Where was that? That's under the total flags. Okay, so that's where I'm assigning the total flags. Right there. Call method. So many things. False. Rebuild. False indicates not close the line, which means don't add the semicolon on there. There we go. Because the this call method bit here is doing it, and then the create local variable is doing it as well. I think I'm going to break this up like I did with the writer because this is just confusing. There's too much going on there. Let's see. Create local variable. Yeah. Total flags variable, correct. And it's actually going to read. So I don't want to add a default value. I don't want to close the line off. So that's gonna be the end of that. And now I'm going to, also I don't want a pinned line, I just want to do append because we're gonna add on to that. So now I'm going to do sb.append. SB is my string builder. No indentation because it's just being added on. Equals, and then we're going to call this. That right? I think that's it. Let me check that out. Make sure I got all my arguments. Calling variable, method name. Calling variable, right? Close call is true. And that's for extra parameter names if I want to add in more to the call method. I'll check out your question in just a second. There we go. Perfect. All right, so let's see. Hi, Benjamin. Whoa, call me by my first name in full. Getting serious. A question. I want to make every player to be poster via Steam, blah, blah, blah. World chunk where they are. There is no one. If there is no one. The problem is when a client changes hosting, is hero player despawn. Are you asking if you could basically jump between servers while retaining the player spawned? And I assume when you're jumping between servers, you're calling like stop connection or something on the server or client and then connecting to another server. Something's missing. Oh, never mind. I was looking at the wrong one. I gotta look at A. Okay, that's right. All right, so now I just need to add in the block which is missing right now. The one that should say, have this block here if it fast contains the full serialize, and it's going to just write the whole thing. I need one for the read as well. So, no. The short answer is no, because the prefab is basically tied, or not the prefab, but the spawn object is tied to that instance of the network, and it's basically being destroyed when you shut down the network. And so I don't know if you could, I've never tried this per se. I don't know if you could somehow remove that object from the server spawn objects on disconnect. Basically, there's not really any way built in to do it, but you might still be able to. I'm just not 100% sure. And I don't know if this is gonna work, but you can try this, okay? So just kind of throwing out an idea here is whenever you are shutting down the server, you can basically remove that object from the spawned objects. So it'll be under server manager objects dot spawned, I believe. And by removing it, it should not automatically destroy it, I believe. Again, I'm not 100% sure. You might want to call despawn on it first, just to make sure it deinitializes, but don't destroy it. And then you can try reconnecting to the new server or starting a new server and then calling spawn on that object. Since it's instantiated already, it might work. I just don't know if it's going to work. It's a stretch. And honestly, I've considered doing something of that nature, to where you can transfer objects from one network manager to another. Not for this reason particularly, but for host mitigation or changing host. But it's obviously not in yet. Otherwise, I would have just told you to use that. Okay, so let's see. Back to where I were. So total flags is being read as this isn't necessarily a problem, but there's something I noticed that's kind of awkward. Total flags is a uint, and sorry, uint 64, and it's converting options, which is an enum up top. So, and then it's adding on, but if you go to the reader, it's reading it as the uint 64, which is right, because then we're checking it that fashion. But the problem is that we want to use our method which checks if it has. Let me go back. Where is it? I'm trying to find it. Make more sense if I just show you. We want it in the form of a delta serializer option, so I can call fast contains and see if it contains the full serialize. And I mean, I guess I could hard code it to basically bypass this, but you know, I think I know how to do this in a more elegant way. I was going to set the variable and cast it, or set the variable like this. Let me go back to the reader. You are witnessing my brain processing like 5 different outcomes at once, and it is not pretty. So maybe I could do it like this, where the code will look something of this sort. delta serialize options equals, and then total flags, and then compare it. Or I could do it something like this. If I've already decided what I'm going to do, just because this looks messy as heck, what I'm about to show you anyway. If delta serialize option total flags dot fast contains delta serialize option dot full serialize. Both of those work though. That's the thing. I think I'm gonna go with this one. I think I'm gonna do the second one. All right, so let's do that. Let's go check out the writer real quick. I just want to see if at the very top and the readers here. I'll probably put a return right here, like a space, and then do a check, just so it looks nice and tidy. So I want to keep that append line there, and then put this down here as well, and then I'm going to add the check in, which should be somewhere in here, like create full read or something of that sort. Oh, it's right there. This actually goes down here now. Oh, you know what? I just realized something. I realize a problem. Maybe it's not a problem. I'll have to see how it prints out. So let's see if this is going to be delta, oops, not default, delta serializer option dot fast contains delta serializer option dot full serialize. Then that's what this is going to be. All right, so get full reader. If this is going to be, I gotta wrap it first in the type, and then I'm going to do fishnet constants dot delta serialize full name, full serialize full name. That's the one. No, that's not the one. Sorry. I just want full name. There we go. Close that off. So this right here is this part. That's actually not what I meant to do. That is this part right here. And now I'm going to do total flags variable dot, just add a return here, dot fast contain, you know, I'm gonna look up, I'm gonna add another constant. Add it under general. Public const string fast contains equals fast contains. Not contains, contain. Why did I type contains twice? What do you mean with the, what about scene unloading? Oh, you're talking about how to do that as well from the scenes. I don't know if you can modify the loaded scenes. I don't know if that's exposed, but that's all in the scene manager. All right, so now I need to pass in constants dot full serialize full name. Okay. closing this off here now. I don't know if that's right. As you can see, it's a bit funny looking, but let me take this and I'm gonna do a quick search for fast contains because I know I hard coded it somewhere. Okay. Where did I fast? Okay, go. Rebuild. Errors. Ulong does not count. I know it does. Okay. So I thought that this would convert it on the fly. It does not. That's fine. We're just going to go with the first approach. It's not a big deal. Let's go up here. Add a new line. We're going to do delta serializer option options equals delta serializer option, not option, total flags. Then we're going to do this, which will actually neaten it up a tiny bit too. Okay, so we're going to do that real quick here. We're going to do sb.append line. Need this. You know, there's other ways you can do this where you can actually use like method creators and things of that nature, like ones that are built in. But oh man, it is so much more wordy than what you're seeing now. It is way more confusing. It's a lot easier to just write it out as strings, and it doesn't actually offer like any significant advantage either. It might actually be slower from what I understand. Okay, so options. Oh, you know what? I need to string options variable equals. You know what? Equal. Is under. All right, cool. So I'm gonna go over back to this right here. Do delta delta writer builder dot all right. Let's see if I did that right. So we're gonna do if out here. There you go. Options variable dot fast contains, etc. Let's try that. A local cannot be declared in a scope because its name is used. Oh, it must be somewhere else in the... Oh, it is. It's passed in there. Oh my god. Okay. It no longer needs to be inside the read as a parameter because it's now read. It's written and then read, so we don't actually need it as a parameter. So I'm going to go to this and go up here. Like this is all I need. So I'm just going to close this off. Is that right? Let's find out. No errors. Okay. Oh, I forgot to add the indenting. Big deal. It's easy enough. free. Build. What? Ah, fumbled that. There we go. About time to take a break here. All right. And no errors this time. I don't need to return. It's not supposed to be 2. Remove that. Double check. And then I already have it there. Okay. Am I being OCD about my returns? I am. All right. So, you know, this could be marginally more performant, like very, very, very slightly more performant. Like so much it doesn't even matter, but I'm going to do this so I can use the extension methods as they're intended. I'm not using Rider because one, Rider was being a pain in the butt with some things, and two, my trial ran out. And I didn't really get to use it enough to decide if I wanted to keep using it. So I'm back with Visual Studio. Yeah, I think that's good. All right, so let me back this up and then give a breakdown of it. Let's see. Delta Reader uses all right. So the breakdown of this is no, I don't really use Copilot. I should try it, but like when it first came out, I tried it and it was a disaster. It might be better now. I could try it again. The main thing I don't like about Visual Studio that Rider did and Visual Studio does not, and I mentioned this earlier. These types are white, as you can see. I can't navigate to them. Like I can't press F12 and navigate to them. But in Rider, they are properly colored, and I can navigate to them, which helps out here and there. But it's not something I absolutely need. Just kind of, it's nice to have it colored properly. All right. So how this basically works is, let's say, we'll do a really simple. This one appears to be the smallest one, so we'll do this. So whenever you're calling a write delta on a type, or more likely when Fishnet is calling it, you can do it too once this is all set up, but it's passing in the first type and it's passing in the second type, and there's an options here. So Fishnet will, if we look at the options, close out some stuff. There's unset, which is basically means no options. Full serialize, which means it's going to write the full type and everything beneath it. That's what this is. So basically, if options has full serialize, then just call write on it and then exit the method. And that's going to do a full write. That is not delta writing at that point. This code is actually wrong. I need to fix that. That is, I'm sorry, give me 1 second, guys. All right, my partner just got home, so I'm gonna wrap this up here. So this is wrong though, because I'm not writing the options. I need to write the options or the total flags. So let me just do that real quick. Oh, this is my builder class. Yeah, this is right. So first I need to write all right, so I need to do string builder, got append line, indent +1, and I need to just basically write the flags. So we're gonna do, I think I'm gonna just copy like I did before in the reader, where I set it right here. And then I'm just going to write that instead of inlining it. Once it compiles, it's going to be the exact same thing anyway. Let's go back to this. I'm going to do native constants dot uint64 full name, and then I'm going to do delta serializer option name equals. I could also just make this as a, I have specific stuff for this and I'm kind of going around it, so let me just do that. Let's see, code builder dot create local variable, type full name is this. Might as well use the code I have, right? Even though it's kind of like the same amount of like length and typing and stuff, it's still good to use what you have. Again, I don't want to append line. So what this is going to do, this is basically, that's what that is right there. What I need to do equals ulong. Oh. Actually change this to flags. Yeah, I'm wrapping this one bit up because I don't want to leave this undone and not know where I'm at when I get back. All right, so now I need to append the line. And this is going to be equals. Again, it's going to be this. I need to wrap it though. For the cast, that's basically the cast bracket. And then I need to do the option. Okay, option. There we go. And then the semicolon to close it off. And that should assign a variable, but it's not going to write it just yet. But that's really easy to do. Yeah, so that's assigning it. Now all I have to do is just write it. So that's actually right down here. Just copy this code. Go up here. And then paste that there. Still gonna be indent +1. Code builder call method. The variable name is this. Close it off. Yes. All right, so let me just go ahead and finish this up. Writer dot write unsigned packed whole flags. That should be it. Assuming I did that right. Oh, there's errors. Oh, that's because I'm calling. That's so basically what I need to do is I need to put the writer variable in here, and then for parameters I need to add in flags variable, and that should fix it. These are variables to pass into the call, basically. All right, perfect. Oh, you know what? I just realized there's an issue with my code, and that's annoying. Okay, so this isn't gonna work, but I'm done for today, so I'll have to get back to this. This isn't gonna work because whenever you write the whole value, it doesn't have, the read doesn't have the flags. It doesn't know it's a delta one. It just calls write whole. So I guess. Well, no, that might work. Yeah, I think that'll work actually. Because I'm gonna write the flags if it's a full write, and then it's gonna write the full value, and then it's going to go over to the reader code, and it's gonna read the flags, and it's gonna see that the options is a full serialize, and it's just going to return and read the type. So it is right. Just had a total brain fart, but it's proper though. All right, so let's go ahead and save. That is it for today. Good place to end. That is one big change I've been wanting to do, so I'm glad that's done. Delta writer full serialize fix. Fixed delta writer not writing during full serialize. Okay, nice. All right, well, I am going to go ahead and take off. Yeah, and thank you for watching as well. And everybody, enjoy your day.